If I woke up tomorrow and I was 20 again, same cramped apartment, same phone charging on the pillow next to my head, same kid who didn't know a thing about how the world actually works, the first thing I'd do would not be to learn a skill. It wouldn't be to sign up for some expensive course. It wouldn't be to run out and start chasing money so I could keep up with everybody else. I'd do one thing. A thing that back then, I'd have told you was a complete waste of time. A thing almost nobody at 20 is willing to do, because it's not impressive. You can't bring it up at a party, and there's nothing about it to post. But if I'd done it 10 years earlier, I'm telling you, my whole life bends in a different direction. And here's the funny part. It doesn't cost a thing. You could start tonight. But before you'll really get why it matters this much, I need you to do something first. I need you to look, honestly, at one ordinary day of your life. Not the day you picture in your head, the real one. Morning. The alarm goes off, and the first thing your hand does, before your brain is even online, is reach for the phone. Your eyes aren't all the way open yet, but your thumb already knows the way up the screen. 15 minutes go by, in bed. Then half an hour. You watch a video of some guy your age who just bought a car. Swipe. A girl stretched out on a beach in Bali. Swipe. A man in a suit who's going to teach you how to get rich in 30 days. Swipe. A song. Some drama between people you've never met and never will. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Eventually you get up. Head a little heavy, eyes a little tired, and the day hasn't even started. And the whole day runs like that. You work or you study, but every 5 minutes there's a gap. Waiting for the elevator, waiting for someone to text back. And in every one of those gaps, without anyone telling you to, the phone comes out. You didn't decide to do that. Your hand did it for you, like a reflex, like breathing. At night, you lie down with this strange feeling. You're tired, genuinely tired. But if somebody asked you, what did you actually finish today, you'd just sit there, for a long time, with no answer. Busy all day, running all day, and at the end of it, you can't point to a single thing you really got done. And here's the part that actually hurts. The thing you promised yourself you'd start. Learning to code, hitting the gym, writing something, starting that channel. You didn't touch it again, not for one more day. You tell yourself, tomorrow, when I'm fresh. And then, to take the edge off the guilt creeping up on you, what do? You open the phone again. 2 in the morning, in the dark, the screen glowing on your face, and you're still scrolling. Not happy, not sad, just can't stop. If you saw yourself anywhere in the last 2 minutes, I want you to hear something, and I mean it. It's not your fault. At least, not in the way you've been beating yourself up. Because for years, you've been sold a lie. People told you that if you keep failing to move forward, it's because you're lazy, because you've got no discipline, because you're not smart enough, or you just didn't catch the right breaks. You heard it so many times, you started to believe it. And every time a new habit falls apart on you, you drive one more nail into the same thought. I guess I'm just not built for this. But the truth is something else entirely. And once you see it, you are never going to look at that phone in your hand the same way again. You're not weak. You're losing a game you didn't even know you were playing. That phone in your hand isn't some dumb slab of glass. It was built by thousands of the smartest engineers on the planet. People paid absurd amounts of money inside the richest companies in human history, with exactly one goal: to make sure you don't put it down. They've got billions of dollars and millions of hours of data about your brain, and all they need from you is a few more seconds. And you've got one tired willpower that woke up already worn out this morning. It was never a fair fight. Their weapon has a name: dopamine. Every time you swipe, you don't know if the next video is going to be trash or gold. Could be boring, could be the best thing you've seen all week. That not knowing, the reward showing up at random, is the most addictive mechanism science has ever found. It's the exact same thing that keeps people glued to a slot machine in Vegas. You pull the lever, not because you win every time, but precisely because you don't win every time. Every swipe up, you're pulling the lever. Except this machine lives in your pocket, and it follows you into bed and into the bathroom. And it gets worse, because the human brain comes with one fatal flaw baked in. It values a reward right now way more than a bigger reward later. A tiny hit of pleasure in 3 seconds beats a massive payoff in 3 years. Every time. If you let your brain choose on its own. That's the whole reason one more video always feels easier than open the book. Not because you're broken, because you're human, and your brain was wired back in the cave to grab the pleasure right in front of it. So you're not stuck because you're dumb or lazy. You're stuck because you're living by somebody else's algorithm instead of your own goals. The feed decides what you look at, what you think about, what you want, who you measure yourself against. You think you're being entertained. You're actually being trained. Trained to lose your focus. Trained to need a stronger hit every day. Train to look at your own life and find it dull next to the highlight reel of the entire planet scrolling past on a screen. And this is where I come back to the question I opened with. If I were 20 today, knowing all of this, the first thing I'd do would not be to make money or learn a skill. The first thing I'd do is take back control of my own attention. Because everything else, the money, the skill, the career, the discipline, all of it, grows out of one patch of ground. The ability to focus on one thing long enough. And right now, that ground of yours is getting plowed into dust. So let me get specific. If it were me, here's what I'd do, in this exact order. First, I'd cut off the cheap dopamine. Not with willpower, but by building walls. Why? Because willpower loses to habit, and habit loses to environment. You don't need to try not to watch TikTok. Trying is losing. You need to make watching it a little harder. I'd delete the app off my home screen. I'd leave my phone in another room when I sleep and buy a $10 alarm clock. Sounds like nothing. But think about it. If getting your hit means you have to get up, walk to another room, unlock the thing, and search the app back up, then 9 times out of 10, you won't bother. That tiny bit of physical distance, over a year, is hundreds of hours back in your pocket. And more important than the hours, you're teaching your brain a lesson it forgot, that you give the orders here, not the app. Second, I'd retrain my focus like a muscle that's gone soft. Because focus isn't some personality trait you're born with or without. It's a muscle, and muscles get built. Years of short videos trained your brain to expect a new scene every few seconds. So of course, sitting still with one task for an hour feels like torture now. That's normal. So, I'd start tiny, 25 minutes a day, one task, phone face down in another room, a timer running. Timer goes off, you stop. Next day, do it again. Next week, push it to 30. None of that sounds impressive, but here's a truth nobody says out loud. In a world where an entire generation has basically lost the ability to focus deeply, just being a person who can sit and do one thing for 90 minutes makes you rare, and rare gets paid. Third, and only after I had my focus back, I'd go learn a skill. But one skill. Taken all the way, the kind the market actually pays for, not 10 half-finished courses. One thing, dug deep. The reason is simple. The world out there doesn't pay you for the time you put in. It pays you for the problem you can solve. Writing, editing video, code, running ads, design, sales. Pick one that solves a real problem for real people. And here's the part nobody told me back then. The first time you make money online from a skill, even $50, something in your head changes for good. You realize the same screen that was draining your life is also the screen that can feed you. Same device. The only difference is whether you're the one consuming or the one creating. 10 years from now, the gap between those two kinds of people isn't measured in skill anymore. It's measured in entire lives. The fourth one sounds unrelated, but it holds up everything else. I'd move my body every single day. And I'm not doing it for a six-pack. I'm doing it for my head. When you move, your brain releases the exact chemicals that make you focus better, worry less, sleep deeper, and make sharper decisions. A guy who sits all day, eats fast food, crashes at 4 in the morning, and then wonders why he's got no motivation? The problem was never motivation. The problem is biology. I wouldn't need a fancy gym, a fast walk every day, a few sets of push-ups, some squats, actually break a sweat. After a month, the thing that changes isn't your body. It's the way you feel about everything else. A sharp mind lives in a body that. People used to know that. We're the ones who forgot. Fifth, I'd change my environment and the people I'm around. And this might be the most brutal one, but it's also the most powerful. Because you are not some lone wolf with a will of steel. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If all 5 of them stay up late scrolling, rip on anyone who tries to do something different, and call any real effort cringe, then you, on your own, have almost no shot at swimming against that current. I'll say it straight. At 20, you don't owe anybody loyalty if the group is dragging you to the bottom. I'd go find, even if it's only online, even if there's nobody around me in real life, the people already walking toward where I want to go. Read what they do what they do, because humans are copying machines. Put yourself next to people who are drifting, and you'll drift. Put yourself next to people who are building, and you'll have a brick in your hand before you even notice. And the last one. Small, but I'd keep it for the rest of my life. Every day, I'd put one quality thing into my head that I chose instead of whatever the algorithm shoves in. 30 minutes reading a real book. Because the feed hands you 1,000 little broken fragments that trick you into feeling like you know a lot, while a book hands you one complete line of thinking from a person who lived and thought about one problem their whole life. One makes you loud, the other makes you deep. After a year of 30 minutes a day, you don't just know more, you think differently. And the way you think, in the end, is the thing that decides how you live. You notice it, right? Not one of those 6 things is a secret. Not one of them costs money. Not one of them is something you've never heard before. What's been missing was never information. What's missing is one person sitting down and telling you straight. The window to do these things does not stay open forever. Because this is what I want you to carry out the door when this video ends. If you're 20, or 22, or 25, or any age where you still think, I've got time, then right now, in your hands, you're holding something a lot of rich people who already have everything you're dreaming about, would trade every dollar they own to touch one more time. That thing isn't money. Money, you lose it, you make it back. That thing is time, and a brain that's still soft, still able to be reshaped, not yet worn smooth by 10 years of mindless scrolling. 3 hours a day on your phone doesn't sound like much, but add it up, and it's more than 45 full days a year, almost a month and a half of your life. Every year, evaporating into nothing, leaving behind no skill, no memory, nothing you can hold in your hope. 10 years of that is close to a year and a half of your life, burned to the ground. And nobody ever sends you the bill. That's exactly what makes it dangerous. The most expensive price is always the one you never notice yourself paying. I'm not telling you all this so you'll feel guilty and then scroll tonight to forget about it. I'm telling you because I think you're still in time. The fact that you're sitting here, listening all the way to this line instead of swiping past, that, right there, is proof that some part of you hasn't surrendered yet. You don't need to change your whole life tonight. You just need to do one thing. One small thing. Tonight, leave the phone in another room before you go to sleep. That's it. Just to prove to yourself that you can still grab the. And if this video made you stop, made you look at the phone in your hand even a little differently, then subscribe. Because every week, here, we're going to take back control of our lives, one step at a time, before the algorithm decides for us. I'll see you in the next one, and this time, show up with a clear head.